All right. Well, look, we've got some new people. I got people coming in, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time. This is a 30-minute call. It's the Yes Community, where we pull together entrepreneurs, business leaders from across the country. So I don't know how many states we got on the call today, but Kyle's as far as Franklin, Tennessee, or in the Tennessee area. So we get them all. The rules here, there is a couple. Use the chat down below. That's how you're going to communicate to one another. I highly encourage that you reach out to somebody that you might find of interest on the call. Don't be shy. That's where you're going to get the value. The idea is that we're sharing our needs. What do you need? Our wants, or how you can help somebody. So feel free to put any one of those three in the chat or all three. And we do try to get to everybody. If you've got something to bring up live, I'll call on you, raise your hand, and then we'll get that out there. This only works if we're sharing our needs and wants and we're helping one another out. I've got a few things to talk about. I don't want to call it a lesson, but maybe some learnings the last couple of weeks. I had not been on the call based on other business dealings that I had. So thank you, Rod and Rachel, for pulling the weight for me while I wasn't here. But I will tell you again, if you're new, I have heard from somebody almost every single day of a connection that was made through these calls. Okay, so if for some reason you're not getting connected, reach out to me if you've got a need or a want, and I will make sure that you're connected because there is true value here, and it's thrilling to hear what happens within the group. All right, so also I put in the group chat already. If you're interested in being on our school platform, which is the Yes Entrepreneurs platform, it's $10 a month. But there's a lot of resources on there, not only in the classroom, it's got business plans, legal documents, brand documents, marketing, all sorts of workouts from Heidi and Taylor. So there's a lot of stuff on that, as well as you can talk to that community on a daily basis. Some of it works like a Facebook. The rest of it is private chat, etc. So feel free to take advantage of school if you're interested. All right, so start introducing yourselves in the chat. If you need anything, there it is. Okay, a couple things I want to talk about as it relates to business and kind of some lessons I've either learned or have gone through in the last week. The first one is, I think we all know how dangerous, there's my cell phone, how dangerous this tool can be. I just experienced this morning almost a deal crusher because of a cell phone. And what I mean by that is sometimes we get ahead of ourselves. We move too fast because of the ease of being able to text and communicate on the spot without learning the whole story, without understanding the back end of the story, without asking a second question about where that information is coming from or why the situation is what it is. And I'm being a little bit vague because it's a real estate deal. But bottom line is, to be vague with it, we had a appraiser that canceled his appointment with the seller. And the message got back was, well, they don't want to do the loan anymore, so I don't have to appraise the place. Well, that wasn't even remotely close to what the reality was. That was only the appraiser's interpretation of the deal. The reality was the buyer wanted a couple days to shop rates, which he has every right to do, and then they would resume the appraisal later on in the week. In the meantime, I've got sellers that are stressed out, can't believe the deal's not going to make it. They're texting, they're calling in a panic. All of that was unnecessary because we got ahead of ourselves on the cell phone because of text. So the message there is sometimes allow information to disseminate a little bit, get all the details, ask all the right questions, and then think about your forward progress as it relates to the use of these tools we have at our fingertips. Not only can you save a deal, but you might save some stress for everybody involved in the process. So it's okay to slow down, do a better job, communicate better, and be a little bit more prepared. So let's not become victims of our cell phones. Second message today, again, another personal experience, is growing up in Newport Beach, California. I'm in Montana now. There was a place, hi Curtis, there's a place called the Doryman's Inn, and it is attached to a steakhouse called 21 Oceanfront. Growing up, I'd ride my bike past there. As I became an adult, I'd drive my car past there. And, I'd look at that place going, this place is so far out of reach for me. I'll never be able to afford this place. The dinner house, I see people walking in black ties and fancy dresses, and I could hear the fancy jazz music from the outside. Like, that is not a place I'll ever be able to go. Well, I happened to be on an overnight trip this last week, Thursday to Friday, and I was in Newport Beach, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to stay at that hotel. I'm going to have dinner at that restaurant. And I booked the hotel room. Surprisingly enough, it was very affordable. The service there was impeccable. The place has been around for 100 years. It was exactly like I expected inside. I booked a table for dinner, which I wound up sitting at the bar and talking to a very nice bartender. And yeah, I had an expensive dinner. But I realized this whole time in my mind, I thought this place was out of touch. And the reality was it was right there, And I think a lot of times we look at things and we think that they're out of touch for us, or they're just beyond our own capabilities. And that is so far from the truth. So I'd like to encourage you to stretch out, find your own Doryman 21 oceanfront, and go have dinner, go stay at that hotel, and realize not only do you deserve it, but you can accomplish whatever you set your mind to. So it's funny, after 40 years of looking at that place, I finally walked in the door for the first time, literally, made some new friends. I will go there again. But it's time to dream a little bit bigger and dig a little bit deeper for those things. And that kind of leads me to my next topic before I start asking questions or reaching out to you guys in the group. Again, if you got needs or wants, raise your hand so I can call on you first. Otherwise, I'll just start working my way through the room. And welcome to the new guest that just came in. The next topic is chase the business. Don't be afraid, as I just suggested, to dream a little bit bigger. I don't see that Rachel Savoda's on the call yet, but the reason why I flew down to Newport Beach this week is she just landed the biggest client that she's landed in 10 years. It's a celebrity from HGTV. She's launching a champagne. It's no longer a secret. She's been posting about it. I'm doing some work with her on the project. And, when you look around the room, just about anything is possible. And for her to land this client and congratulate her on that, not only is it an accomplishment, but she realized that she has the time, talent, and treasure to facilitate that agreement with the client and do the job that they need. And I've already watched her in the last 4 days far exceed their expectations and pull together a team that will be able to do the job. So for whatever reason, this big client landed on her plate now, but the timing is perfect for her. So I want to encourage you also, don't be afraid to go chase the big client. I mean, a lot of times I know we get intimidated by somebody's wealth or by their celebrity status and all those other things, but they're humans too, and they have real needs. And that's what we realized. Matter of fact, with the gentleman on the meeting with her that I was involved with, one of the top attorneys in the country, well, besides Peter, who's on the call today, I know he's an incredible attorney. If you need one, reach out to him. But normally I'd be intimidated by their bio and what they do and think, gosh, I shouldn't be in the room with these people. But yet, then again, here Rachel's bringing value, and I was able to bring some values too. I saw a neat little meme on Instagram yesterday, and it was about, the topic was about investing your time and investors. And he referenced the multimillionaire or the person investing $1 million compared to the person investing 25 grand. And he was emulating a phone call. So the phone call to the $1 million investor was, hey, we need $1 million. I need 25% down. This is the bank. Boom, money's in. Okay, it's that simple. The $25,000 investor is more like, yeah, well, I got to go over here, then I got to go over there, then I got to do this, then I got to do that, and then over here, and then back there, and then maybe I'll get to the bank and put the money in. His point was, don't be afraid to chase that millionaire investor as opposed to that $25,000 investor. Have the confidence to put the right plan in front of the people and go after it. I will tell you, after raising capital the last 20 plus years, the person that puts in $1 million is far easier to deal with than the person that puts in $500, right? And that $500 investor is calling me every week going, how are we doing? Are we making any money? And it's like, no. And I haven't received, actually, I'll give you a real story. I had an investor in my tequila company in 2007. He owns a third of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kyle, I don't think you know him, but good guy. He put $700,000 invested into my tequila company in 2007. I talked to him a year ago for the first time, and I sold that company, or at least my shares, back in 2017. And he says, Jim, how's my investment doing? I said, Ben, I haven't been there since 2017, and I haven't heard from you since 2007. Right? Guy had $700,000 in the deal and forgot about it for all those years. I'm not saying that that's what happens all the time, but typically when you chase bigger deals, you chase bigger dreams, you get more action, you have more expectations, but you'll find more success as opposed to these little these low hanging fruits. So don't be afraid to dream a little bit bigger. And then the last thing I'm going to say before I start working my way around the room, again, raise your hands. I see a few things in the chat. Justin, good job. Thanks for putting that in there. Is when I'm working with my consulting coaching clients, we're about 30 days into already setting our goals and expectations for 2026. All right. So I want to use this as a reminder. If you have not set your goals for 2026 with real action items, you're already 30 days late in my book. But you do have time to make up for it. Get after it now. We've talked a lot about the 90-day rule in here. What you're doing right now, you'll see the results of in 90 days. So if we're halfway through November, that means what? Mid-February, you're going to start seeing the results. This is especially relates to raising capital. That's usually a 30 to 60-day cycle. Real estate, typically a 90-day cycle. A lot of things, building structure, business plans, a lot of things take 90 days. So start working on it now so that you can see the results by February. Okay. That has fallen true for me time and time again. So if you have not set out your goals for 2026, start writing them down now. If you need help with it, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. If you're on school, there's some goal planners on there. Either one works, but I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to help walk you through some goals. If you want to run across me, I know Rod is always willing to take a call or an email to help you with your goals. And my caveat on building out goals is always aligning those with your values. So establish your values first and build your goals around those values. That way, when you're achieving those goals, you're hitting home runs instead of going, what am I doing here? I don't belong here, right? So align your goals with your values. Okay, I'm going to start working my way around the room. Since I already brought it up, Kyle, how about taking a minute and tell us, you were in DC. I know you were fighting back against the changes in the hemp laws, right?
Yeah, they just slid in at last minute some legislation into this, getting the government back up and working, that is going to completely destroy the hemp industry. So I don't know who's on the call that has a $30 billion industry that they're a part of, but it's at risk now if Donald Trump signs this without amending this, that we now have and are on the clock for. Perfect segue here, Jim. 2026. What are the goals? Well, the goal is to go kick the door in of the White House and throw my helmet over. So I decided I'd just try to be nice and, hopefully things can get fixed that way.
Yeah.
People hit me up all the time and they go, oh, that must be nice that you're on the call sheet first and getting these interviews and CNN. Well, that's not the fucking truth at all. I literally got in my truck because I saw it on the news because I didn't think this was going to happen. And I drove 10 hours to the White House. And I walked into the Capitol with a person that I've been working with on a lot of political stuff for a long time. And we got some good traction. We'll see what happens. But, to those who don't think things can happen, you can dream big in this country. You don't have to wait for these people. You can go straight to them. I did it last year with Nikki Haley, and South Carolina now has a pathway towards legalization for medical cannabis by confronting her up in the snow in a small room that I flew to Boston for and got in a car and drove up to see her so she could see a real face of this conversation. And hopefully that's what happens here. There's a lot of people that have worked really hard to create this $30 billion industry, myself being one of them, and continuing to do so. So any support out there, anybody out there on this call, the answer is the Rand Paul Hemp Act. Okay, the Rand Paul Hemp Act. If anybody has anything to say out there and you want to make a comment, just reply Rand Paul Hemp Act. Okay, because it resolves this whole thing. It puts everything to bed, and this conversation completely goes away. So, that said, here we are again. This is nothing new. And the cannabis industry has seen this before. We're in a 100-year cycle. This prohibition thing has come back around, and now it's cannabis's turn to take the heat. So we'll see what happens, but there's a lot of opportunity in this industry, and I plan to take full advantage of it in 2026. And now we at least know what we're up against. So
Kyle,
yeah.
I've always appreciated your willingness. And, we talk about dreaming big. The man walked into the White House basically and has been doing that for a long time. If you don't know much about Kyle, look up Kyle Turley. He's been instrumental in facilitating the health and well-being of our NFL players as it relates to head injuries and using cannabis and hemp products instead of the opioids that they're being prescribed. So, Kyle, thank you for the work that you're doing, dude. Really, yeah, go ahead.
One more thing is that, when you go and do these things, it might not happen at first, but because I didn't throw my helmet over the White House, believe me, they were all ready. They were all ready for me to do it. Because I didn't do that, I'm being told I'm going to get this meeting and give that helmet to President Trump. And hopefully this gets put to bed. So we'll see.
I love it. I actually have a call on Friday with a potential new client utilizing D9 in their products. And they're in their late 50s and early 60s coming out with a product because it helps them medically. So, this is a conversation for all ages, for all people. So, all right, Monty, if you don't mind, you're new. I'd love to hear, maybe introduce yourself, your elevator pitch, why you're here, and what can we do for you? Just take yourself off of mute.
Well, I'm just kind of was invited,
Love it.
Curtis, and kind of a mouse in the room. Just, just here to listen. Those were good points you made. I appreciate them.
Yeah.
And but just a local guy. And
Well, we're happy to have you. And you don't have to be a mouse next time. And if you have a need or a want, we're happy to facilitate that. And if your need and want is just hang out and get to know more people, we'd love to have you. So thanks for being here. Yeah. Sean and wife or colleague, or introduce yourselves. Let us know what your deal is. And thank you for being here.
Wife.
Wife and colleague.
Wife and colleague.
Well, you're in business attire, so I figure maybe they're working together. So
Yeah.
anyways, thanks.
So good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for having us, Jim. I appreciate it. Trent Cook invited us several months ago, and he felt that we would be a really good fit for this group. And so we finally have made it. And we do separate things and we do joint things. I do have my personally on my person. I do have needs, wants, and how I can help. Do you want me to?
Yeah, please, by all means. Yeah.
Excellent. And by the way, we are serial entrepreneurs. I put that in the chat, so I'd love to meet with anybody. Yeah, we're interested in that for sure. As serial entrepreneurs, we also advise other companies now and entrepreneurs. And my husband and I own several companies, one in real estate, 2% Realty up in Canada, in Alberta, just a few hours up north. We're in Big Fork, Montana. And we own Flathead Pressure Wash and Soft Wash here in Montana. We just purchased that in May. So we're looking to scale that. And HDS Consultants Group, it's a consultancy I've had for a little over 15 years. And then I just started a podcast called Becoming Matriarch. So that's always fun. My needs are as follows. I'm looking for AI web developer. They're all over. There's, so many new and amazing AI people, but I want someone who actually has been in it before the hype. I'd love that. And then I would want intros to faith-based professional women and CEOs. So if we know any faith-based women that are looking to connect with other faith-based women, I'd love that introduction. And how I can help, I'm actually opening up my slots. I have 2 slots available to be executive coach to 2 more, and I'm going to do that pro bono. So if we're looking for people to scale or also optimize their operations and sales, I would love to coach and advise. So 2 people who maybe can't afford a coach, but I can take them to the next level. Well, then they can afford us.
Love it. Those are
Yeah.
great items. Thank you for sharing that. I put
Thank
my
you.
wife's name in there with their phone number. Write it down.
Okay.
She's your faith-based leadership that you can connect with. There's several others in here too. Sean, you want to go ahead on your end?
Sure. I guess for needs, maybe somebody in lead generation that could either coach us or help us with our real estate business,
Yep.
for ideas that way. And I can also help with my wife in advising and strategizing for business owners. I think that's it.
Do I have any wants?
Once?
Yeah, probably 50 million.
Yeah.
200
We'll
million
get it for you.
would be nice. I'm buying out a partner in my Canadian business right now, and I need around 210,000 Canadian.
165, about
Yeah, whatever the
160,000
conversion
USD.
is to US.
US. Great. Well, bring a deck or send a deck on your investment opportunity. You've already got your stuff in the chat. Show up more often or as often as you want. We're here for you. I've made a couple notes. Curtis is in real estate. He's been doing this stuff for a long time. Maybe you guys can at least exchange a text or something. So I'm going to move around the room a little bit. David, you're new as well. Do you want to speak up and introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
David Ambrose. I didn't have any background in business ownership or entrepreneurship. Kind of jumped into real estate in 2017 and kind of house hacked my way through about 4 or 5 different properties. Ended up selling a couple when the real estate boomed in COVID. At the time, I was a FedEx driver for a contractor. FedEx Ground is all owned and operated by contracted service providers in the whole United States. That's how FedEx Ground started, and it's how it continues to move. And I bought about a third of my boss's business 4 years ago. And so I've been doing that and house hacking and buying and selling real estate. And then I started a spray foam insulation company 2 years ago called Base Camp Spray Foam. And that's been growing. We're actually going to be doing Curtis Chapman's house on Friday. So I've been growing that and putting a lot of energy into growing that business. And yeah, that's kind of my story. I got 4
Awesome.
kids. So.
Well, thank you for being here. We're here every Tuesday. Bring your needs, wants, connect with people. That's how it works. If you're not connecting, it's not working. I do want to go to RC real quick. Mainly because, we're talking about dreaming big and doing big things. Do you want to tell them how you proposed to your wife? I think it's been a couple weeks now, but you want to just say that real quick?
Yeah. So back in August, I started rolling out plans to propose to my lady, and explicitly told her to her face that I would never pull her up on a stage in front of a whole bunch of people, and that I was earning a trip to Jamaica through work, and that it would be way cool to get engaged on a beach. Well, on Halloween, she and I traveled to the dirty South, went to Savannah, Georgia, and then traveled up to Charlotte, North Carolina for a concert. And I'd been in contact with the guy who was headlining said concert and held up a sign. And my girl was like, "Why are you making a sign?" And I just chalked it up to, "I just need my moment, girl, leave me alone." And so hold up the sign. He's like, "Hey, what's that sign say? Let's get this group on stage." She thought all 4 of us were going because we were there with a couple friend of ours. Ended up just being the two of us on stage in front of about 1,000 people. And I just kind of tapped her on the shoulder and dropped the knee. And he handed me the microphone, and all I had the wherewithal to say was surprise. She said yes, obviously. Yeah, very excited. I've never been more nervous about anything in my whole life.
I love it. And I appreciated you sharing the lead up to that before you went and did that big deal. Also the real time Instagram posts. I caught it somewhere that, leading up to it, and then I got stuck. Like I got to watch this go down. So thanks for that. And thank you for dreaming big. The guy was literally, it looked like way more than 1,000 people on stage, nightclub, rave, whatever it was. I was like, wow, that must have been amazing to do. So a couple other people that are on the call, just to note them out. I'm sure they're in the middle of doing other things too while they're listening. But Peter Berlin, attorney, he's helped me with a client this week. If you need an attorney, reach out to Peter or I'm happy to connect. Wayne here, he owns a pool cleaning business in Southern California. He's also an investor. He's always looking for random real estate. So another great guy on the call. He's been with me for years on different projects. Kyle's here. He just ran for office. Kyle, I hope you're not giving up. He was looking to do some community work, running for city council. So Kyle, thank you for doing that. Don't give up. Keep going. Okay.
Jim, I got a few things to add if I can.
Yeah, go for it, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Peter Berlin. I'm a criminal, white collar, and business corporate attorney practicing in California and Montana. Anybody has any questions along those lines, feel free to reach out. I apologize, I'm not streaming video today, so I'm just on audio. But I wanted to circle back really quick on something Jim was saying about chasing the business earlier when you started the call. And I wanted to also add along the same lines is don't be afraid to get the business. I find clients who sometimes turn down business because they either don't know if they will be able to handle it, or it's slightly new and outside of their wheelhouse, but really in their wheelhouse, and they wind up not taking the business. It's always a lot easier to handle the business than getting the business. And certainly you never want to sacrifice the quality, but you'll always find a way to make it happen, grind it, and figure out how to handle the business. So don't turn it down.
Yeah, good advice. I'm going to do one of those calls this Friday. As a matter of fact, Peter helped me on a call because these guys didn't know what to do in their business structure. They're taking on investors. So Peter was instrumental in doing that. So you just never know who you're going to need in this call. And that's why I say it's great to introduce yourself, needs and wants. Heidi's got a home for sale up in Montana. Great open house. Good job pushing it. So you got some other real estate people in here. You got Curtis and Sean and his wife. David looks like he's doing some stuff. So, by the way, I know we've got probably more real estate on this call today than we've had most of the times. I think every person should have a real estate license. Everybody. I wish I'd known that when I was in my 20s. I'm in my late 50s now. I got my license a year and a half ago. I'm thinking, why didn't I have this before? It's not my primary business. I have 3 consulting clients right now that are my main business. But real estate, not only has it been a blessing, but it's been a learning lesson, and it's also connected me to a whole bunch of other people. So if you're in here and you don't have your real estate license, go get it. Okay. You'll thank me later, and probably everybody else nodding their head in here. Curtis, real quick, you went to your jail ministry last night. Anything to touch on, or how's the world out there?
Yeah, man. Thanks, Jim. All is good. I was actually just kind of sitting here reminiscing. I've kind of dreamed about a lot of things. Like, really, I was just actually on another coaching call for real estate, Hatch coaching for somebody that was just asking for a coach. We've been with him out of Fargo, North Dakota for a long time. Super helpful. But really, what I love to do is serve, solve, and save. I love to just serve people, solve problems and save people. And along the lines of real estate, it's really at the forefront of what I do, but it's just provided so many different opportunities. There's 1,000 different ways to get paid and operate real estate business. One, just with the jail ministry, and this is for every aspect of life. There's a lot more people that need you more than you need you, and they need you to operate at a high level. So I just actually filed all of these things for a nonprofit 501c3 ministry, which is a direct correlation to my main business as an entrepreneur. There's a lot of tax incentives that we can kind of move our money into these places that can help and actually impact a lot of people. And I actually just got this in the mail. And the one thing that's actually stopping me from being a fully recognized business is this, or not business, ministry. I think it's for $399, but to just pay this fee and be fully recognized with the state and the federal government to operate like that. So it's been a long time coming, but we're kind of here and just going to the heart of these jails. Monty Christensen, I just respect you so much as a man of faith and really going to these people. He has a book called 70 by 7 and Beyond. It's become a good friend the last few weeks, and I just so admire the places he's going, the people he's serving, and the magnitude that he's getting to do that at. It's truly impactful, and as well with you, Jim. So I'll just leave it at that. And then Sean Endenbosch, I actually have a client from Canada. His name is Ben Endenbosch, so I've become good friends with. Is there any relation?
That's my brother.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
what do you do?
I'm in real estate. Yeah, I've been actually helping him look for a property
Yeah.
for his RV repair business. So he's become a good friend the last few months as well.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
See how small
We should connect.
Sounds great.
exchange some numbers, how small this world is. And Monty, you're in trouble with me on the first call. You didn't mention your book, and that book is phenomenal. 70 by 7. Everybody go find it. Time's up. Thank you for being here. Everybody's welcome. If you want to invite people, please do so. If you want to jump on the school platform, the link was at the beginning of the chat. Love to have you there as well. Monty, I keep spreading your book. Thank you for being here. Curtis, thanks for bringing that up. I'm calling him out on it. So anyways, everybody have a great week. Good to see you today.